What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Just over here. This is your boy B, and we are live. This is Talk to Me Tuesday. Yes, Talk to Me Tuesday. This is episode 1, and on this episode, let's see. Try again. On this episode, we have my man. Hey. Hello. We have Devon Horace, who is a master of strategy and execution business consultant. And we're going to talk about, as everybody is coming on board, how he paid off $47,238.38 to be exact in 10 months, and created he went from just being down to being up $500,000 in assets, and he's going to be on to share with us how he did that. So we're going to just wait for everybody to come on in and do their thing and wave to each and every one of you. I appreciate you guys for coming on board. We're getting the YouTube family here. We got the Instagram family on. And let's see. Devon, we're just waiting on. Again, we're going to have... Devon Horace, what's going on? Devon, if you can... we can... Let me see if we can do this. Do this. I just sent you Devon, I just sent you a,
I just requested, It came right in. Yeah. We're here now.
Okay, we here now.
Yeah.
Okay, we ready. Hold on, give me 1 second. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, give me one. It wouldn't work. I was trying to see if I can record it off of here, but I'm just going to have to download it. But
I was going to say, after the live, before you share it, just save it.
Okay, I'm going to definitely do that.
Yeah.
I definitely do that. First and foremost, I want to say, first, thank you for just taking the time to come on live. I know you could have been anywhere else in the world, but you're here with us. So I just did an intro for you, but I'm gonna redo this intro since you're in the building, and we can get right to it, because with Instagram we only have like an hour of time,
right?
And I don't want to waste any time, because this is important.
But shout out to the 23 people on here, though. It's 23 people on here right now.
24,
24 and counting. 24.
Yep, 24 and counting. So
let's get some hearts going. Let's get some thumbs up
going on.
Right.
Hey man, we getting a lot of waves. So they're gonna be coming in as we extend this conversation. But Devon Horace is on board. He's a master strategy and a master of strategy execution.
Oh, the connection. Hold up. The connection. Hold on.
Hey, you got me?
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Hold up. Your connection.
Okay.
Can you guys hear us?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can y'all hear us?
Can you guys hear us? Ron, can you hear us? Ron.
All right, I just got you back, B. Your connection was a little... We
okay.
Good now?
Yeah. If everybody can... Okay, we're getting some thumbs up that can hear us. So we got Devon here on. He's master strategy and execution.
Hold on, the connection. I can't hear. Hold on a second. Hold on.
Okay. So Ron, can you guys hear me? Perhaps you can get to a more secure Wi-Fi. Okay, yeah. He's on Pacific time. So he's they just getting, everybody's just getting off work and things of that nature. So while point, we can hear you. Great. Well, he's gonna chime right back in. Here we go. Boom. YouTube family, if you guys want to see and be part of the conversation here, right on Instagram, go to Black Men's Beard. If not, you guys can stay tuned.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay, great. All right. I didn't know. It's probably the connection. You driving?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So we have Devon Horace on board. He's a master strategy, execution, business consultant. He has been able to go from $47,238.38 to be exact in debt in 10 months. And now he's up $500K in assets. Talk about it. Talk about it. And he's not even, he hasn't even, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Okay. So we definitely want to stay tuned and hear everything that he has to say, because obviously he got something to say if he's able to accomplish all those things in such a short frame of time. So let's get right into it. If you can start by just sharing us your story from New York to Portland, and we can start right there.
Yep. Yeah, cool. So I'll make that part kind of quick. I used to live in New York City. I lived in Brooklyn, New York, and I, just graduated college. I was working at a company full time, and I wanted to impact that company on a bigger scale. So the way to do that, their HQ was here in Portland. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to drop everything and move to Portland. So I spent like all of my savings that I had saved up, which was nothing. I spent a lot of like I used my credit card, which I tell people not to do. But I did all those things. It took like a leap of faith and moved out here to Portland with nothing. Like I actually moved out here with negative $47,238.38. So I was actually negative 47 grand moving out here in Portland.
Wow. So before we get into the process of how you were able to, I call you the comeback kid. You know what I'm saying? You was able to come down. You know what I mean? Jay-Z has this line where he lost like, X amount of drugs, right? And then he was able to come back. And your story is just, it inspires me because, I'm like, wow, this is a young man who's able to do it, and he was able to do it in 10 months. So I want to talk about the process of how you got there, but most importantly, I think that I want to talk about the thought process, because you can give everybody the tools, you can give everybody the tips, right? I mean, you go to a company, everybody can get the same training, but it's the thought process, I believe, that makes a world of difference. Can you talk about your thought process from, you coming to Portland, you was in debt over $47,000 to now where you are up $500,000 in assets. What was your thought process? How did you get to that point?
Yeah, so my thought process was basically I didn't want to owe anybody. I really kept that in mind throughout the whole process. I always said to myself, I do not want to be that person where someone can say like, hey, I will never go broke because Devon owes me his money. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I will always be like, okay, how am I going to conquer this? How am I going to, stay determined? Because that's the hardest thing, right? Everybody's going out. Everybody's having fun. Like, people are just basically like traveling. And then you have Instagram make it even 10 times worse. You see everybody like shining and nice cars and everything. And, I ate pasta for a year straight. I still walk to this day. I mean, my wife has a car, so I share her car, but I don't have a car still. And I just kept that mentality in my head, like, hey, I do not want to owe anybody, not even the government. I just want to be debt free so I can start building on that generational wealth. And that was my main focus, even still to this day, that's my main focus.
Now, with life can sometimes erode people of self-esteem. And for you to be in that position, did you do any personal development? Did you have any mentors? I mean, was there any?
Well, so the thing with mentors, right? Like, you and I actually used to speak a lot when I was going through my debt freedom journey. and I will support your brand, and I support other people's brands. It's just I have a lot of mentors, but they're like internet mentors, or they're people I haven't met yet. I just watch their talks, or I watch them on YouTube, and I did a lot of reading. Like I read a lot about financial freedom and just like how to invest, how to save money, how to learn how to put 10%, to the side. Like when I first started off, I always talked about the book, The Richest Man in Babylon.
Mm-hmm.
I always talk about that book, and it's a short read, probably like 100 pages, but it's just straight to the point. So after I read all these books, I told myself, now I have to implement these plans. Like when there's action and there's motion, right? Jamal Condor, I know I'm saying his last name wrong, but Gamal, he was explaining this very well. People who like watch the YouTube videos, read all the books, and like go through all the motions, but don't apply them, they're not, doing the action, right? They're not putting those things into action. So that was my biggest thing. I said when I read, or when I like watch a YouTube clip, or when I, go to these conferences, I have to apply these things in my life, because if not, I don't want to say it's pointless, but it is. Like, just straight, like it's kind of pointless if you don't apply it to your life, because it now it's like, well, that was a cool talk, or that was a cool video. Right. So just applying those skills and applying those teachings into my life, into what I want to get to, and studying the people I want to be like, or the life I want to live. So that was very key for me.
Now you talk about, how, you wanted to just application, not think about it. I'm going to apply what I hear. I'm going to apply it right away. Did that just pop up one day, or were you always like that as a kid?
Yeah, so I actually grew up, because I'm I'm short in stature, so I always grew up trying to prove myself. It's like, little man syndrome. So like all my brothers, everybody would play football, basketball, and all that, and I was really good at those sports, but I was just tired of people complaining. Like when people complain to me, like, oh, this is tiring, or I'm like, I hate doing this, I hate doing that. I'm like, I can do that. That's easy, right? But I always had that self-confidence in myself, but I will always challenge myself. Like I can talk a good game, but then I will always be like, well, let's do it. Like I'm about that action too, right? So I will always like kind of like psych myself up, because there was no such thing as failure for me. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of people like run away from fear, but I keep the like military, Navy, Marine kind of aspect. I run towards fear, because I want to get through it instead of like having it hinder me down. So I always think about going through fear instead of staying back from it or analyzing it from a distance. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take this head on. I'm going to take on the challenge. And from where I'm from, I'm one of 8. I'm from Rochester, New York. I'm like, what do I have to lose? I'm like the first generation of high school, college, graduate, corporate job, entrepreneur, financial freedom. I'm like, what do I have to lose? So I just start doing it for myself.
Okay. I'm sorry. What was the last part you said?
I was saying I just started doing everything for myself. Like, you know what? Like, I had to prove myself wrong or right, or I'm just doing it for myself in order to show other people that it can be done. I mean, like, again, I'm one of 8 from Rochester, New York. So I am
you're breaking up
to be able to attack my fears or go headfirst into my fears, but anybody can do it. All these things I am able to do, they are all skills.
Right, but one of the things that you talk about is the fear, right? The fear, yes. Things are appearing that they're false, right? Like that's the part where I think is it's always the wall, this invisible wall, and you've been able to not see. It seems like you don't even see a wall. Like you talk about fear, but I don't even think you see it.
So this is the thing, though, B. I do see the wall.
Okay.
I acknowledge the wall. I acknowledge the challenge. I acknowledge the challenge. But instead of just staring at the wall or ignoring the wall like it's not there, I take a strategic approach and I say, how am I going to get past this wall? How am I going to get around it, over it? Can I break it down? Like I have to get through this.
Mm-hmm.
Not letting that wall actually block me for my bigger goal, right? You always have to keep the bigger goal in mind. If you really want something, and I know you hear this a lot, it's sort of like a cliche, but everyone tuning in, if you really want something, you become committed to that goal. Being inspired and being committed to a goal are two different things. When you're inspired by a goal, you're like, oh, cool, this sounds great. And, like, oh, yeah, I feel good about it. But when you're committed, you eat, sleep, breathe, work out, focus, everything that goal. It's a different kind of energy when you're committed to something.
Now, what kept you from, I guess, let me ask you this, the goals that you had, and for everybody who's just getting on, we're talking to Davon Horace. This is a young man who lives and breathes the true testament of a setback is not a setback, it's a comeback. And so he was able to go from $47,238.38 in 10 months, and now he's up $500,000 in assets, and he's only 26. So if you're just now tuning in, this is who we have online. So please, I would want you to really listen to what he's saying, because we are facing these things every single day. Now, you talk, right? And you are a master of strategy and execution. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. We don't even have to argue that. Talk to us about the strategy aspect of it when you set your mind to attack to pay off that $47,238.38 in 10 months.
Yeah, definitely. So real quick, I want to shout out my one of my mentors, ACG Mac. He's on here showing love. I want to shout him out because like when I first started in New York City, he used to always challenge me like, what else? What else? What else? So I want to definitely give him a shout out. But the strategy has always been, and this may sound very simple, but it's true. I will always read or watch a YouTube video or read a meme, and I will apply. So, for example, The Richest Man in Babylon, I always talk about that book. They say, everything you earn, like your income, always put 10% to the side, right? Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to take that one concept and I'm going to do that one thing first. First, I'm going to master that one thing, right? There's a book called The One Thing, and it talks about essentially that we focus on so many things, and the buzzword in the market is, you have to multitask, but you're giving one thing 40%, another thing 30%, another 30%, and then it's like 60 here, and then 35 on a Wednesday. It's like you want to focus on one thing. Like, one thing that I really admire about you is that when you first started off doing your beard videos in the bathroom with like low quality and everything, but you continuously posting on YouTube, you continuously learn about how to create content and everything. So, but you did that one thing first, right? So I would encourage everybody to, if you're facing a goal, break it down in smaller victories. I always talk about smaller victories and focus on one thing first. So how that applies to my debt that I paid off, if you're familiar with student loans, you have a bunch of student loans lined up, and it's like loan 1, loan 2, loan 3, etc., right? Mm-hmm. So I would take one loan at a time and pay it off. So everybody heard of like the debt snowball effect or the debt avalanche. Mm-hmm. I went the debt avalanche approach because mentally I already was very determined to get rid of the debt, but I did the highest amount with the highest interest rate, and I tackled that one first. I did not look at the whole debt as $47,000 in debt. I looked at it as, well, this month or this first goal is $3,000 in debt. The next one is $2,000 in debt. The next one is $5,000. I did it one thing at a time, and I focused all of my energy on that one thing. Now, a lot of people say, how are you able to do that when there's multiple loans and you have to pay a minimum every month? Here's another tip. Call your provider if you're in debt, student loan debt especially. Call your provider and say, hey, this is how much I can afford every month. This is what I'm going to pay you minimum every month. Okay? They're not going to say no. They want their money. They're not going to say no. So what you do is tell them that you're going to pay this minimum, and then everything else, you apply it to one loan at a time. If you consolidated your loans, that's going to be a little more difficult challenge because now that lump sum is there. But if you have it still separated, attack each loan one at a time, and that'll help you focus and kind of like, again, break that bigger goal down into smaller victories.
Okay. And so that's how you were able to do that within 10 months.
Yeah. So again, I basically ate pasta for a year straight. Like I went to the, I like telling this story because it's so real. And now every time people see me with a bowl of pasta, they're like, yeah, Devon's up to something. Something's about to happen. Because I ate pasta for a year straight. I would go to the store because with my job, I got paid every 2 weeks. And then every other side gig, everything was applied to my debt. Everything. So I ate pasta for a year straight. I would go to the store every 2 weeks. I would go buy 2 boxes of pasta. So that was probably like $1.50 a pack. Mm-hmm. Or like $1.59, whatever. So I'll buy 2 of those, and then I'll buy 1 tomato jar. And that tomato jar was like $5. So every 2 weeks, I was spending like maximum $10 on food.
Oh, wow.
And when I paid off a loan and I felt special, or I was like, you know what, I accomplished something this month, or I paid off a loan, I'll get like a tomato basil flavored one, spice things up, like Italian herb or something, like, cool, I need to treat myself. Or I'll get me like a grandma's cookie, little dollar cookie, like 2 in a pack. I'll get a grandma's cookie, like, you know what, pat myself on the back, like, I did good. But again, that discipline, that training, I was like, you know what, I can do other things. I can allocate my money to, other stuff, but I'm training myself for the long-term goal. I'm learning how to live frugal. I'm learning how to live below, very, very below my means, so that I could build wealth and invest in other things, which I am doing now. So somebody said, real quick, were you doing multiple jobs? Yeah. Right. So I have one job, full-time job, and then I was doing like side gigs. As I was doing my financial journey, I was helping other people with their finances, and then just little basic jobs like helping people take out their trash, doing people yard work. Somebody need help moving their furniture, I would do that, right? Like every dollar counts when you're paying off your debt and when you're building on any kind of wealth building. Like every stream counts. So that's what I was doing.
Wow. Yeah, that reminds me when I was doing TaskRabbit, when I was doing the videos, to stay afloat.
Right.
So I definitely, you talked about training and you talked about discipline. Man, to be able just to do that same routine minimally every single day, it didn't have an impact on your how you felt about yourself at that particular time, because you mentioned Instagram, you mentioned all these things like it. So talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so here's the thing though, B, and everybody who's watching, like it did hurt. It hurt emotionally, physically at times, because I walked 2 miles to work, 2 miles back every single day, rain, sleet, snow, it didn't even matter. And then living in the world we live in today where everything is like glitz and glamour, and everybody, to show that you are somebody, quote unquote, or to show that you got money or whatever, you had to have the jewelry and expensive clothes and stuff. But that's all a facade. Once I actually start applying what I read and actually start, again, listening to the memes and watching all these different clips and stuff, I was like, you know what? Warren Buffett is out here looking like, got a polo one with no name brand on it and all this stuff. Like, You look at Bill Gates, he just got like a Miami kind of like flower print shirt on or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
oh, this shirt cost me $5. And I was like, you know what? I should not be trying to impress people. Like, what is my goal? Right? So I had to get over that huge hump, which was again strenuous because I'm watching my friends, they're going out, you know, I'm young, you know, so it's like, yo, why you ain't coming out chilling and you act like an old man? Like everybody called me like, they say like, oh, you act like you're 40 and stuff. And I'm like, that's not the case. It's like getting through this and training myself. Again, this was truly like a training day for me because I was like, I'm really trying to train myself to become better financially and just with everything else. Now imagine I paid off this debt and everyone is like, okay, cool. You know, like, okay, everybody's like, okay, cool. He paid off the debt, very disciplined. But now I'm buying real estate. I'm investing in other businesses and I'm still living far below my means. And like, it trained me for the long-term goal. Right. So, but yes, it truly was a struggle. It was very emotional, but I had to kind of like sit with myself. And there were times where I would literally, it sounds crazy, but it's true. I would literally sit in the dark by myself. I'll lay on the floor and I'll just sit there. And I will always tell myself like, focus on the bigger picture. Everything will be okay. Like I would have to comfort myself, dude. Like everything will be okay. Focus on the bigger picture. Like, you know, like live like no one. Dave Ramsey, I like this quote is so real. It's like, live like no one else, so later you may live and give like no one else. So during that time, I was living like no one else. Pasta every day, walking back and forth, not going out, all that stuff. But now, look at me now. You know what I'm saying?
500 up, baby. 500
right, you know?
up to be exact. So now that you were able to, man, this is phenomenal, man. Because I think that
thank you.
That people, what happened? You said two things. You said a couple things. One, you said that you were walking 2 miles back and forth to work.
Yep.
You said you kept mentioning training. You're training yourself. You're training your mind. You have to retrain the mind to think a certain way. You're talking to yourself. You're training the mind. You're reading books to help train the mind, and you're surrounding yourself with people, whether on the internet, whatever the case may be, who are like-minded, who has this same type of thought process.
Right.
And that is so important because the mind is being trained either by us individually or by somebody else.
Right, exactly.
Whether we're being trained to spin, trained to save, trained to invest.
All right.
So I find that fascinating that you were able to sacrifice. I mean, the sacrifice is an understatement. Like to be able to sacrifice on that level, it was like you was on your LeBron James-ish type stuff in your own way. Real talk.
But here's the thing though, B. I do want to add this in. Sorry, but I do want to add this in because I feel it. Like this is very important for everybody listening.
Please.
Understanding time management. Everyone always talk about time, like, oh, you know, manage your time. You could do multiple things, whatever. It's like, you know, take a step back. Again, using that phrase, looking at the bigger picture. When you look at time, it's like, what are you doing today that is going to affect your future, right? Yep. Like the whole training, the investing, things like that. People want to live for the moment because everything is now in the moment, right? It's like I have to keep up with the time. But time is infinite. Like we can't measure that. We can't put like people have calendars and stuff. Like we don't know. 1 year might go fast. 1 year might feel slow. Like, oh man, today feels slow. Yesterday felt fast. Whatever. Like, who is determining that, right? So we're mentally psyching ourselves out from this whole time concept. But if you train yourself to time manage your life, time would cease to exist to you. You'll be like, oh man, cool. I'm up at 3 a.m. Again, Beyonce, she would go rehearsing for 3 days. Everybody heard about this. 3 days she's rehearsing. Oh man, I forgot to eat. What day is it? I don't even know what's going on. Time did not exist to her because time is going to keep moving. You know what I'm saying? So again, please, like when it comes to time, always think about the bigger picture. Think about the goal that you're setting. And then you'll look up one day and be like, man, like time flew by, or man, like that was quite the journey, because time is going to keep moving. So be cautious of that.
So what do you think is stopping people? I mean, you talk about time, you're talking about, people trying to keep up with the Jones, not saying, but I mean, they're like, man, Devon, man, you just different, you think different, you special. Like, what would you say to somebody who may feel like it's still hard?
Yeah. So I will, first and foremost, I will say this: I am different. I do think different, right? That's true. But like again, it goes to that training, man. Like it's gonna be tough. Like nothing worth having is easy. Another cliche that we hear all the time, but again, applying that method, right? Like it's so true. Like once you work hard for something and you get it, it's like it feels better. For example, here's a quick example, right? So far in my life, I had 3 Rolexes. I always wanted a Rolex. I'm like, I want a Rolex so bad. It means this to me. It means that. I see it. I want it. I had it on my vision board. I want a Rolex. And my journey to getting a Rolex was better than having a Rolex. Once I got the Rolex, I was like, I don't want it no more. And I sold it for a profit.
Wow.
But then I got another one, and I was like, okay, I'm going to keep this one. I worked hard for this one. I had the extra funds. Like I have my living is good, whatever like that. I'm going to keep this one. And then my wife and I decided to buy a house. And I was like, okay, I sold that one. I was like, bigger picture. I want the house, better investment, things like that. But I enjoyed the journey of getting that stuff than rather having the stuff. When I have the stuff, I'm like, whatever. Like it's again, this material stuff is either going to get worn down or wore out. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean that much. So that's kind of like, again, like it was just a mindset thing. So when you're going through this and you're like, oh, this is tough, this is whatever, it's like, what are you doing it for? Is it the journey? Is it the applying the skills that you learned? Is it for the path of enlightenment, or is it for the thing? And you have to sit with yourself and really ask yourself that, like, what am I, like, why do I want to achieve this goal? Because everybody set goals. Like, I want to lose weight. I want to, buy a car. I want to buy a house. And it's like, okay, why? Why do you want to buy a house? Why do you want to lose weight? Right? And then that's where the deeper thinking becomes, like, the process really start turning, right? It's like, man, why do I want to buy a house? It's like, why do I want to lose weight? Some people are like, I want to lose weight to look good. Why? Who do you want to look good for? For yourself? Do you want to look good for other people? You want to look good for Miami South Beach? Like what is it, right? Because, everybody has their reason, but is your reason strong enough to have you committed to that goal? Everyone listening right now, is your reason strong enough to have you committed, not inspired, not motivated, committed to the goal you're setting for yourself?
That's a good question. Let's wait for let the comments come in. Let's see if they gonna give us some emojis, something to say.
Right.
Yeah.
And,
okay.
and everybody, if you love this content so far, I'm truly blessed to be able to be here with B. Again, I remember buying a wooden comb for him for my beard and asking him a bunch of beard questions and stuff. So this is kind of like full circle. I'm truly blessed to be asked to come on Talk to Me Tuesday. I always watch Talk to Me Tuesday with everybody else and all their business ventures. So if you like this, emojis, thumbs up, hearts, greatly appreciated.
So let me give him a quick side story real quick about you. Is that with Devon, he hit me up. He was in he ended up, he was in LA. He was like, yo, B, I'm in LA, and we met up. And I was truly impressed because one, he took the initiative to reach out, and that said a lot about you, that you were a type of person who, if you want something, you're gonna go get it. If you want to make it happen, you're going to make it happen. And you were there at the Complex Con, I believe.
Yep.
I mean, Complex Con. I mean, everybody wants to be there. And
Right.
for you to take the time to meet with me, an hour out of your day, to go from Long Beach and come all the way to LA, which is not a small feat. That already gave me an indication of, okay, this particular person, this man, he operates on and vibrates on an entirely different level because you were so.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You even asked me about videos. You was like, "Hey, Big, I got my YouTube, booty boo." Like, you was asking me about these questions, and you were very curious to get better and know how to be better, and that already just located you in terms of, oh, you know what? This kid, this young man is going to be super successful because, one, he's not going to wait for somebody to give it to him. He's going to go get it. He's very humble. He's not like, it's 2 hours away, I can't do it. He's going to do it at whatever cost that it takes. And I believe that you have some people who kind of get lost in this world where, when they first get up, the first thing they do is check their Instagram in bed. So when you what is your ritual to get your mind right and get ready for the day, if you don't mind sharing?
Yeah, sure. So to be honest, like where I am right now, I do wake up and look at Instagram because I have a business. I have a few businesses, right? So I have to make sure, and the algorithm is ridiculous. So I gotta make sure that's good. But like my actual routine, my morning routine, I wake up and I kind of train myself to wake up at 4:30 a.m. like without an alarm clock. And that took a few months to do, but I will wake up, get a drink of water, and I would just sit in the dark. I would just sit in the dark and think about all the stuff I want to do, I have to do, the things I learned the day before. Did it work? Did it not? I would literally just have a glass of water and sit in the dark and really just, in a sense, meditate. I would just sit in the dark and think about all the things that I've done, all the things that I want to do, all the things I'm doing today, right? Because I want to center myself, or I want to ground myself to go throughout the day with the mindset of being open-minded and telling myself, you do not know everything. You're still on this journey. You've done this. That's cool. That's great. That's something that can push you forward to the next goal, but you're not there yet. So that morning start really humbles me and just grounds me, where it's like you still have a lot to learn and you still have a lot to do.
Now I got two questions on top of my mind, but I'm gonna get this one question off. Why did you start to train yourself to wake up without alarm clock at 4:30? What was that?
Well, so here's the thing. Like, a lot of people were saying, entrepreneurs and millionaires or whatever, they wake up at 5 a.m. They wake up at 5 a.m. And I'm like, well, okay, I'm gonna start waking up at 4:30. Like, I'm gonna try it out. Now I'm like, why do they wake up at that time? Ain't nothing to do at that time. Like, what you doing? But I live on the West Coast. I'm like, I can wake up at that time and it's 8 o'clock on the East Coast, so that makes sense. But other than that, I'm like, why y'all waking up so early? Like, what are y'all doing? But I'm already trained. So now my mind is just like every day, no matter what. I can be like, enjoyed a nice night the night before. Every night I will wake up at 4:30 a.m. and I'm like, my brain is just like, this is what we're programmed to do now. It's just like reading a book, right? When you're first starting off, you really don't read that much. You really don't, it's tough for some people. But you read 1 page a day. You read 10 minutes. You read 30 minutes. Okay, put the book down. Try it again. Now you're reading books, novels, autobiographies. You're like reading just novels, and you're like, man, how did I get to this? It's because your brain is now high wired now. It's like, look, this is what we're doing. Like, this is the capacity. You stretch that muscle. So I wake up at 4:30 every day, just like I've trained myself to wake up, and now I just sit and meditate and use that time before all the chaos happens. because life brings a lot of chaos. You get on Instagram, chaos and noise. You go to work, chaos and noise. And when do you really have the time to, ground yourself? Mm-hmm. And for me, that's the best time to do it.
Good morning. Man, that's powerful. That's powerful. And I know you had kind of mentioned this early on, but, when you accomplish the goal of saying, hey, my debt is paid off, $47,238, and I almost got this memorized myself, and 38 cents behind. Now you up, like, you got more money to spend, right? Like,
right.
Like, but you chose to invest it into real estate.
Yep.
You stuck to your script. And because some people, they may be like, all right, they grind, right? And then once they make it and everything paid off, it's like they forget how they got there. And
right.
All of a sudden now they may find themselves right back into where they just work so hard to get themselves out of. But for you went in and invested in real estate.
Right.
Why was that important for you to invest in real estate, and how did you, did you take it? I know you say you read books, but did you take any classes or courses or anything of that nature?
Yeah, so a majority of my teachings come from books and YouTube. Everybody watching a really, really great podcast to listen to is Bigger Pockets. Man. Trust me. Bigger Pockets. If you're looking to get into real estate, Bigger Pockets is legit. Trust me. Mm-hmm. And what made me want to invest in real estate was that, see somebody say, I remember you, Richest Man in Babylon. Yes, of course. So, like, when you're listening to or when you're reading these books, you're listening to these podcasts, you're reading these articles about the wealthy or rich people or generational wealth, they're always buying properties. No matter what you listen to, they're always buying properties. And you're like, the curious mind is like, maybe I should buy property. What is it about buying properties? Then you learn about, and this is just, being real transparent. You learn about, like, tax deductions. You learn about, like, rent, being a landlord. You learn about selling property, flipping properties for a profit. And you start to learn these things, and you're like, oh, this is how you guys are making money. Oh, this is how you guys aren't paying taxes. Like, you start to learn these things, and you're like, going back to what I said before, then you start applying them. And I was like, you know what? For me to have a sure bet, right? Because everyone is always going to need a place to live, mm-hmm. no matter where you are. They're not building any more land. Everybody hear that all the time, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, for me to start building on that generational wealth, something to leave my kids once I have kids and stuff, and something to leave the next generation, I had to start again with a strong foundation. A lot of people invest in stocks and stuff. That's cool. You can invest in stocks, 401k, and your own kind of Roth IRA. But I needed something tangible. Mm-hmm. I wanted to see my investment. I wanted to work on my investment, see it grow, see how it's giving back to the community, see how it's providing. I wanted something tangible asset. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to basically start that foundation and then watch it work, right? Because if I, for now, if I have a few properties now, but if I just keep going, I'm going to find myself in debt. I'm going to find myself borrowing money and doing all this stuff. But I said, I'm just going to watch my profits work. Like, now is the time to sit back and watch it work, right? But I knew that was the foundation of generational wealth. I studied the Rothschild family, the Hershey family, the Walmart family. When you study those people, you're like, wow, they're like, not so much the Rothschild family anymore, but great example is the Hershey family. They have a Hershey Foundation that 5 generations can go to college, any college they want, full tuition paid for.
Oh, wow.
5 generations. And it's like, how did the Hershey family start? Everybody think it's the Hershey company, right? No, it was real estate.
Oh,
They were
wow.
like, you know what? This is what we're going to do. Like, you have money. You're starting a business. That's cool. This is what we're going to do. We're going to put our dollars together, a.k.a. crowdfunding, but we're a family. We're going to put our dollars together, and we're going to buy that building. Then we're going to go next door, buy that one. So, auntie, you're going to live in that one. Brother, you're going to live in that one. Okay. Then we're going to put our money together again. We're going to buy that one. Now, as they're building equity and everything like that. They're like, okay, now we can put this in a pot so everyone can eat. Everybody is good in the future. We don't have to worry about everybody else.
Wow.
And that's the beauty behind it. That's what I'm living for, legacy. Like people with opportunity have just that, opportunity. When you're growing up in the hood or, you know, being black in America, let's be real here, like you're already a setback, right? So you're playing catch up. Right. And when you're playing catch up, you're on survival mode consistently. You have no room to think about growth, investment. Can I study this on YouTube? Because you're in survival mode. Like, how can I eat tomorrow? How can I feed my family tomorrow? So you're taking any job, the jobs you don't like. You're doing things you wouldn't see yourself really doing, but you're like, I have to eat out here. I have to survive. Then you may end up in trouble. You may end up in a job you hate. And again, I want to create opportunity for my future generation to say, hey, if you want to go dance, go dance. If you want to be an artist or whatever like that, go on and paint. You know, like I put in the groundwork now so you can have that opportunity to be whoever you want to be and explore, right? Like you can really say to a kid, like, you know, hey, you go to school for years and years and years without worry about, you know, getting a part-time job during your studies and all that stuff. Like, just go to school. Just be great, right? Because now you can, again, going back to that book, The One Thing, now you can focus on that one thing. Now you can become a master in that one thing.
Man, you know, it's funny. It's funny that you mentioned The One Thing. The One Thing changed my life too. After I read The One Thing, it was over after that. And when you said that, I was like, aha, it makes sense now. Yeah, The One Thing changed my life. I want one last question, and then then I want everybody to know where they can find you, any information that you want to give. Then we can there. This year, I've been, you know, this is all about transformation. It's all about, and you about breaking your small, you know, taking these victories, breaking them up in small victories, right, step by step. And that's the transformation, taking these transformative steps. And that's the same how I'm, you know, that's the journey. You know, what would you, you know, as far as transformative steps, you know, what would you say the importance of, and you can wrap this up as quickly as you can, so we can make sure we can get you, they can get your information. Instagram, shut up. How important is transformative steps versus just saying, hey, I just want to go out and make this, I want to just do a total transformation. I want to, versus stepping back, and you mentioned, hey, work on these small steps and make them transformative.
So it's really plain and simple. You don't know everything, and you can't do everything. Everyone is different, right? My approach to paying off my debt and my financial freedom is going to be totally different path that someone else takes. I went extreme. I was like guns blazing, like I'm going to eat pasta for a year straight. People may not like pasta. That's might not be their thing. Yeah. But it's very important to make stride. Like it's like, okay, it's like a plant, right? When a plant is growing, you water it, you know, you wait. You wait till it grows roots. You water it, it grows like a little stem, whatever. Let's fast forward a little bit due to time. The plant is big. You have to now move it, or now you have to break it down into like multiple parts or whatever, right? It is important to transition into the person you want to be due to your well-being. If you go too hard, if you push yourself too much, you might go insane. You might get sick. It's not healthy. But if you make those little strides, and again, like if people follow me on Instagram, like I do monthly challenges. Me and my wife, we do monthly challenges. Like this month, we're gonna run, 12 miles a week. This month, we're going to read this many books, right? Slowly, like you don't have to speak. Even though it looks like everybody is going 100 miles per hour, they're not. They're only showing you what they want to see. How that rich person became rich, they lived a broke lifestyle. Think about Warren Buffett, compound interest, real quick.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't become a billionaire until his 60s, his 70s. Everybody like, oh, he's a billionaire, whatever. Like, yeah, he didn't see all that billionaire status until he was like 60, 70 years old. At the rate you're going at right now, here's a serious question for our listeners. At a rate that you're going at right now, what do you think you're going to look at 70? It's getting that deep. Where do you think you're going to look at 70? Take every day at a time, every hour at a time, whatever, because you don't know everything. You can't do everything. Just stay open-minded to that. Just understand that. Understand yourself so you can live a healthier lifestyle.
Man, that's beautiful, man. I appreciate that. Where can everybody find you? What's the best way they can contact you?
So everybody can contact me. If you want to shoot me an email and just, show love and support. So I'm going to put my email down here, but it's devon@consultinghorace.com. You can email me anytime. I love to hear people's feedback about the podcast tonight. If you have any questions, you can follow me on Instagram at dhorace, DHORACE. You can also go to my website at consultinghorace.com. But yeah, you can also just DM me. Just send me a DM. I always answer my DMs. And, again, ask questions. I do offer consulting. I am a business consulting, but I also offer personal financial consulting to help you map out your plan, strategic planning to help you, again, at your own pace, learn how to build that wealth that you want to be or obtain any kind of financial freedom. So that's where you can find me all at. Again, email, he just pinned it, devon@consultinghorace.com. Instagram, d.horace, and then go to my website, consultinghorace.com.
Man. Make sure you guys, please flood his DM. please.
Right.
Great.
So real quick, B, sorry, I'm so sorry. Someone keep asking, what is the $500,000 in assets?
Okay.
So I'm going to break it down real quick.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I have 2 years worth of my living expenses saved. I have 1, 2, 3 properties. I have a steady income. I have a business, Mr. OK's Essentials. Make sure y'all go check that out. And, just my side gig. So when you add all that stuff up, even when you minus my mortgage, I'm up. I'm actually a little over $500,000.
Oh, talk about it.
So once I pay off one of my mortgages, millionaire status, here I come.
Talk about.
But I live very frugally. The job that I have, again, I don't want to take up too much time due to our time, but one of my half of one of my paychecks pays for my whole monthly expenses. Now wrap that around your head. And on top of that, I have a partner. So my wife, I don't even touch any of her money. That's the thing. Her money is hers, but we're a union, we're together. But it's I do say that her money is hers. But for my income alone, 2 years worth of living expenses is just off of my income alone. Wow.
Man, that's just
a good idea.
just for everybody who we'll take one question. We don't really have much time.
One question
because of just Instagram, or we would be, so if you guys got one question, we will take a question. So please, one question. He's been answering some questions as we've been going along. So if you have questions, please, one question, and then we will go from there.
Okay, cool. First question that pop up. Just first question. Just
first question. Any question? So make sure you guys.
When did you know you were great? I knew I was great after I paid off $47,238.38 in 10 months.
Talk about it.
That's how I knew I was great.
Talk about it. Great. Man. Hey, you know what? Listen, I appreciate that. Hold on, let me see. Do you think it's about the individual or the strategy? Answer that question. See
okay, cool. This is good. So I think both play a major role, because if you are an individual who knows how to execute but don't have a solid strategy, you're just going to be running in place. But if you are a person who is kind of shy or timid or really don't, have a hard time approaching challenges, but you have a great strategy, you're going to be just sitting in place because you're like, oh, the strategy looks great, but you're not applying any action. That goes back to, again, what we talked about earlier, action versus motion.
Yep. All right. Listen,
cool.
Man, action versus motion. There's a listen. Make sure you guys DM him. I pinned his email address so you guys can hit him up on email and get your personal consultation. This is 2019. We got goals for 2019, but our goals are not for 2019. It's for 2020 and 2021.
Right.
That's what I if you don't get anything from this, one thing that Devon has exemplified is that he's not planning for the day. He understands about the future, and everything he does today, he knows that it's going to impact tomorrow. So, man, with that said, man, I love you. I appreciate you, bro. Thank
you, man. Thank you so much for the time. Thank you, man.
Man, this will be a podcast. This is Talk to Me Tuesday, but we're going to have a guest every single Tuesday. They're going to be talking about business, health, fitness, relationships, so on and so forth. But please support this brother. Go and follow this brother. Everybody who on here, 33 of you guys, and everybody who's going to listen to this afterwards, go follow him. There's no way that you should not surround yourself around.
Thank you.
Pick his brain. Now, if you feel like you cool and you comfortable, then cool, you comfortable. But for those who are looking for transformative steps in 2019 for 2020, you know what I'm saying? Eyesight is 2020. You didn't get that? But go ahead and follow his brother. Contact him, email him, and support him, okay? Because one thing about Devon, he goes and he supports everybody. That's the one thing I know.
That's a fact.
He supports everybody. He supports everybody. He don't have to. You know what I'm talking about? So reciprocate, because he's given an hour of his time. He can be with his lady. He can be working on some business. He can be doing a whole bunch of things right now, but he's taking the time out of his day to be here with us. So with that said, I appreciate you and be blessed, my brother. Prosperity.
Thanks, man. Thanks.